I just drove 14 hours and spent $7,500 on this 500,000 mile 12-valve Cummins truck. And you're about to find out why. It's certainly hot garbage on the outside, but under here, it's good, really good. You got robbed. Could have built it cheaper. Honed, decked, fire ring, 362, 178, 208 camshaft, rod bolts, ported heads, 625 head studs. Probably gonna break the transmission. 35 mpg, nerdiest record I've ever tried to set. It's a science project. So here's the theme of this video, and a lot of you are not gonna like it, but that truck is bought, not built. And whether you wanna believe it or not, that's the cheapest way you're ever gonna make horsepower. Let somebody else pay to make the horsepower and then buy it when they get their cousin pregnant. Roll Tide. So let me give the quick rundown. 1995, 12-valve Cummins, 5-speed, 2-wheel drive, slightly used, small dent there. Pretty sure it's been on fire. Definitely seen a hailstorm. Of course the dash is cracked. 492,624 actual miles. Makes 500 horsepower, allegedly, to these 235, 85, 16 rear tires on base model steel wheels. I love those wheels. They look so slow. It's got big everything and it's built right. Probably. That's a little loose. I'll give you the full rundown in a second, but let's talk about how we got here. About 1.5 years ago, I started a budget 12-valve build. I found a good running P-pump 12-valve on the face space for $2,200 with an intercooler and a fast lift pump. It was all going great, till it wasn't. The crank and rods needed to go to the machine shop, which I was happy to do for $1,000 to get it going. They've had those parts for 2 years. I bought this in the meantime. I should be working on it, but I had some science projects I wanted to do for some content, so now I own my third Cummins truck. And that's how we got here. Now, I know some of you are saying, that's a $4,000 truck, Jamin. You got robbed. Or I could have built it cheaper. And I'm not gonna disagree that some of you could have bought this truck cheaper. Maybe. Just wait for some guy to get his girlfriend's brother pregnant, and when he needs to skip town, he'll sell it cheap. But you could not build this truck cheaper. There is no alternate universe where you could buy a similar truck and turn it into what this truck is with your own time and money for even double what I paid for this truck. Hence the theme, bought, not built. So I hitched up the trailer, grabbed a handful of cash, and 14 hours later, I was back in my driveway with a truck that's ready to go. Guy was asking $9,500 for it. He's got a lot of money invested in this rig. He was passionate about it, so I knew I wasn't gonna get it cheap. So I offered him $7,500 and told him why I thought it was worth $7,500. And he took it, barely. So $7,500 with good everything, good tires. Now those are new tires, we'll get to that in a minute, but it had good tires, not that bumper. It had this 200-pound ARP bumper on there that I've already sold on the face space. So now it's got the cheapest 235, 85, 16 highway tires I could find for fuel economy. It's a science project. And a beat up 2nd-gen stock bumper with no trim on it. I wish I had trim, but this is what they had at the junkyard. So I paid $7,500 for the truck, $100 for the new old bumper, $550 for the new MPG tires, minus $650 I got selling the ARB bumper on the face space, and another $200 for selling the original tires. So that means I'm into this truck for $7,300, which is still way too much. Maybe. It's kind of rough. It's a 30-year-old truck. I mean, at this point, it's basically got patina. I actually love the look. Two-tone, steel wheels, fire damage, probably. It's good. It's got some broken pieces and a custom steel bumper. These are gonna come in handy on the next video. Slow-moving vehicle. So why the slow-moving vehicle? As I alluded to earlier, with the purchase of new 235, 85, 16 tires, which are taller and skinnier than the factory 245, 75, 16 tires that came on the truck, they're great for fuel economy. And that's why I bought this particular truck. Not because I needed an efficient commuter truck, but because I'm a giant nerd and I want to set a 12-valve Cummins MPG record. And I know that sounds stupid, because it is. But here's the deal. About 20 years ago, Motor Trend allegedly squeezed about 31 miles per gallon out of a 1997 12-valve two-wheel drive dually with nothing more than some duct tape on the grill and a severe case of swampus in the cab while they were driving through a desert in California with no AC. And I say allegedly because 31 MPG always seemed a little far-fetched, so I either needed to myth bust it or break that record with science. And a regular cab, two-wheel drive, 5-speed truck is the perfect truck for the job. And having already done some preliminary testing with this truck, I can say that 31 mpg is completely achievable. Stick around to the end of the video to see how many miles per gallon I've already squeezed out of this truck just as it sits. And to be perfectly honest, I probably wouldn't believe me if I hadn't done the math myself. And since we're already talking about mile per gallon math, let's talk about the sponsor of today's video, Upside. Because while getting great fuel economy feels good, getting cash back on the fuel you're already buying feels even better. And the free Upside app does just that. It gives you cash back on gas, groceries, and dining. Upside has been a part of my fueling routine for several months. I still use the same racetrack gas station that I've always used, but now I'm earning cash back when I fuel up. Let me show you how it works. Just open the Upside app, find a gas station on the map, claim an offer, and pay as usual with your card, and get paid. That's it. Upside partners with over 100,000 gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants, so cashback opportunities are always just around the corner. And yes, it's cash back. No confusing points, credits, or rewards. It's actual money that you can transfer to your bank account when you want. Upside users are earning $1 million cash back every week, and unlike other programs, you can stack Upside with your existing credit card and loyalty rewards, so you're getting cash back on top of cash back. Upside is giving back over $1 billion to its users. To find out how much you can earn, just download the free Upside app using the link in the description and use the promo code FreedomWorks to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of fuel. That's an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of fuel using code FreedomWorks. Or just scan the QR code on the screen right now to claim this offer. Big thanks to Upside for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to this overpriced 12-valve Cummins truck. So let's go through the parts list so you guys don't think I'm absolutely insane for spending $7,500 on this truck. First of all, this is not your typical face space purchase. Everybody's seen the posting where it's got a built 650 horsepower transmission, this part, that part, this part. Nobody's got receipts or pictures. That's not this truck. I have got a stack of receipts for this truck. Important one, here's the receipt for the P-pump build, a 380cc pump. There was also tons of pictures to go along with the truck. So I know what the owner told me is the truth because I've got the documentation. So the basics. The engine was rebuilt about 10,000 miles ago. So it was honed, decked, brand new pistons, coated pistons, 3-piece manifold, Borg Warner S362 with a Savage Fab housing on it, Hamilton 178-208 camshaft and lifters, power-driven diesel push rods and conical valve springs, power-driven billet freeze plugs that you can't see. It's got upgraded rod bolts and a ported head. All the goodies. Again, rebuilt P-pump flowing 380 cc's of fuel, ARP 625 head studs, and oh, by the way, the block and head have been fire ringed. Not O-ringed, fire ringed. 4-inch exhaust, power-driven diesel, charge air boots, 6-year-old interstate batteries that need to be replaced with no hold down. That's not amazing. Spearco intercooler. I know you can't see it down there, but there's a blue top steering gear on here. Big money steering gear. New rod ends, fresh brakes, stainless brake lines, completely worn out shocks. There's an air dog lift pump and traction bars. It's got a Valair clutch in it. The transmission's been rebuilt, bigger input shaft, all the good parts. I know I'm forgetting a bunch of crap. I did the math last night and I didn't include any of the maintenance stuff. None of the steering, the bushings, any of the crap just to make the truck drive down the road good. Just the upgrades were over $12,000. And I rounded down. No labor, no machine work, the rebuild kit, the decking the block, the honing the cylinders, none of that stuff. Just the high performance parts, $12,000. I didn't even add the price of the Cummins stickers, though that probably adds 10 horsepower. So if you added in the price of the rebuild kit, the labor, all the other stuff on this truck that's not just the high performance parts, plus the cost of the truck, guy had at least $20,000 in this truck. $20,000. And that still doesn't include all the time and labor that goes into doing it. So yes, you could buy this truck stock for $3,500 and then dump $15,000 into it to get what I have here. So you could wear a t-shirt that says built not bought, but that t-shirt cost you $15,000. It's an expensive t-shirt. I don't have that t-shirt, but I do have a truck that's ready to go have fun right now. Dude did a really good job on the truck. Good parts. There's only one thing I'd really change, and that's the injectors. It's got some 5x16 injectors, which means 5 holes at 16 thousandths of an inch per hole, which is good enough for like 800 or 900 horsepower. But nothing else on the truck will support that, so they're just big and smoky and nasty. So it still makes decent power. It's just smoky and very inefficient, and I'm just not a big fan of smoke. I want just enough smoke for people to know it's a diesel. That's it, probably. But fortunately, I already had a bunch of parts for that failed 12 valve build, like compound turbos, better injectors. And guess what? Since this engine's already been fire ringed and studded, I can throw those parts on here right now and just go rip. No pulling ahead to do an O-ring or worrying about an O-ring fail because it's already fire ringed. It's ready to rip right now. Just add parts. And then break the transmission, because as much as you manual transmission guys don't like to hear this, the manual transmissions just aren't strong enough in these trucks to hold a lot of horsepower. This truck's 500, 550 horsepower, and that's honestly all it really needs to run a long time and be fun. Anything more than that, it's probably gonna break the transmission. I feel like we need to go straight vice grip on this one and just see what kind of goodies are in the glove box and behind the seat. And then maybe I'll wash it. Not because I really want it to look good, but because I don't want to catch an STD when I'm working on it. It's kind of nasty. There's a lot of stuff back there. Ooh. Is that an OG power-driven diesel AFC Live? What is this? Oh, that's a manifold blanket. You know what? Let's just get it all out of here and put it on the tailgate. I must say, you can fit a surprising amount of crap under and behind those seats. 17,000 napkins has my wife been in here. All right, factory radio, junk, umbrella, junk, OG AFC Live, I believe. A couple flavors of duct tape, zip ties. Oh, there's a big one. Factory oil pressure sending unit, which is good because periodically the oil pressure gauge goes to 0, and that's a little concerning, but it's probably just a gauge. Turn signal switch. Pretty sure that's a delivery valve socket. I'm pretty sure those are for pulling injectors. Fuel line, cube lights I'll throw away, a 4-way, can't live without that. Don't know why there's 2 of these trailer connectors. I don't know. Looks like an intake elbow. OEM cup holders, junk. Some mud flaps I don't need. Oh, big one. 10mm wrench. Can't have too many 10mm wrenches. Gooseneck ball. So upon further investigation, I found a spark plug gapping tool in the toolkit. It's pretty ironic. Also, got a pretty sweet milk crate back here. I always have to wonder why there's spare fluids laying around. Is this guy really cautious, or is he just not telling me the whole story? I don't know. But yeah, upon the vacuuming, I found a lot of pieces of dashboard. Somebody obviously had a dog in here at some point. We're gonna need to work on cup holders. Gotta have that. There's a thing that goes here and I want it. I found $2 in the ashtray. We'll just leave that there for emergencies. Rusted out seat support. That's a new one. We've got some ISPRO gauges. And this fuel pressure gauge, it jumps around and makes a lot of noise. Pretty annoying. I'm gonna have to do something about that. Heater works, AC doesn't. And oh yeah, the kill switch is on a mechanical pull kill. That's good to go. This truck is almost foolproof, except for it has an electric fast fuel pump. So you gotta have the electrons to make the truck run. I'm not opposed to upgrading to like one of the power-driven Predator pumps, just for the reliability. Mechanical's good. Zoom zoom. Let's give it a quick bath, just to give a little before and after flavor. Kind of dirty. We'll make it better. Green Scotch-Brite for the win. That being said, I tried it right there and it went straight to bare metal. Maybe we just leave that patinaed. Put a little oil on it. All right, let me put you guys on the time lapse. Look at that, nice and clean this morning. Let's see if it'll actually crank. Almost needs new batteries. Almost. Yeah, that's super annoying. As you can see, 70, 73 miles an hour. Steer straight, doesn't pull. Good solid runner. I thought I'd take it on a little road trip, see what kind of fuel efficiency we're getting. Miles per gallon. That's really why I bought the truck, for a mile per gallon video. So, I'm driving it to the in-laws for Christmas. It's about 150 miles one way. I just fueled up in Noonan, Georgia at the racetrack. Now I'm gonna stop at the Busey's in Auburn, Alabama and get some beaver juice. See what kind of fuel mileage we got on this 75, 80 mile leg. I would say the weather's prime for this. It's like 75 outside and the air conditioner on the truck doesn't work, so this is good MPG weather. Although I do stink a little bit currently. All right, 75 miles. I even checked it on the GPS. Pretty much 3 gallons. So that's 25 mpg, if you math it. That's pretty good considering the injectors we got in here. So pretty anxious to see what it'll do when we put some economy injectors in here and actually try to get some fuel economy. All right, I got about another 50 miles to go. Let's hit it. All right, so I survived Christmas at the in-laws, mostly. Got one more dinner. But considering we got 25 mpg on the interstate, I really had to do one more mpg loop before I started messing with the injectors and all the other stuff. I just gotta know. So I got her fueled up. I've got a 2-lane back road. It's 15 miles with no stop signs. Speed limit's 55 miles an hour. So I'm gonna make that 15-mile trek and back to this fuel station a couple times at 50, 55 miles an hour. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So 60 miles of slow, boring driving. Then we're going to top off the tank back at this same pump and see what happens for science. Let's go. All right, 59.0 miles. Slow miles, 50 mile an hour miles. Boring miles. Let's see what the damage is. Okay, less than 2 gallons. Let me do the mathemagicals real quick. Okay, 30.79 mpg. No trickery, no hypermiling, no duct tape on the grill, just driving an old pickup truck down a 2-lane back road with no stop signs for 60 miles. 30.79 mpg. I mean, this is a huge pump, huge injectors, and it's still got almost 31 mpg. It's pretty wild. I'm honestly kind of scared to swap the injectors in the pump at this point. Not sure how to handle this. We can do better. We're gonna do better. We're gonna hypermile the crap out of this thing. See if we can't do 35 mpg. This might be the nerdiest record I've ever tried to set. Maybe. But if you've got any cheap or free ideas to improve the efficiency of this truck, leave them down in the comments. I've got my own ideas, but I'd like to see if you guys come up with anything additional or maybe even contradictory to what I already plan to do. Anyway, if you've made it this far, please consider hitting those like and subscribe buttons, leave a comment on a topic you'd like to see, share this video with your know-it-all brother-in-law, and as always, stay curious.